I'm confused. I thought he hated immigrants, so why did he marry one? And why did he pick a running mate who also married one, who is also non-white? And I thought he hated women, but why did he give the first ever woman the chief of staff title in the history of the United States and also give women top positions in his administration? I thought he was supposed to start World War III, not stop 8 wars in 9 months. I thought we were under a dictatorship, so why is everyone free to say whatever they want and protest whatever they want? Meanwhile, the people that they voted for, the last administration, were censoring people, calling social media companies to censor people who they didn't agree with. How is democracy at risk when the president was voted democratically and won fairly, the electoral vote, the popular vote, and won all the swing states? Are you questioning the election results? Are you a conspiracy theorist now? You were saying to free Palestine every day the past 2 years, and now that it has been freed, you're now waving around the American flag, but I thought that was right-wing extremism. You're suddenly for the First Amendment, but you publicly celebrated someone getting assassinated for their right to the First Amendment.
Well, yeah, he was making a
And
point.
what's the
I mean,
point?
why shouldn't the president use a made-up video to respond to a rally that has a made-up reason? I mean, it's a non-existent reason. We don't have a monarchy in this country. We have a presidency won by Donald Trump, who won the popular vote, who won the Electoral College, who won all the swing states. We have a democracy. People voted, and they elected the president, and the only thing they're mad about is that he is lawfully executing the office of the presidency and enforcing laws that have been on the books for a long time. So he made up a video. They made up a reason to have a rally. And I think it was kind of funny, to be honest with you.
They feel like their president is not listening to them and, frankly, in some instances has said we're the enemy simply because we disagree with them. You're saying that's not a good use of time. You're criticizing these people who went out to, be Americans and say they love their country and want their president to listen to them. That's not a good use of time. That's outrageous.
Well, no, I mean, normal people were spending time with their family and watching college football. I don't care how they spend their time. If they want to go out, if they want to go out and if they want to go out and protest, be my guest. They're welcome to do it, and I don't really care whether they do it or not. But I just happen to think if I were Democrats, I would rather have directed that energy into the campaigns that are going on this year instead of marching around the way they did. But listen, you guys spend your time however you want. It's a free country, not a monarchy.
The left don't know what to do with themselves. As you saw from the intro, we got a lot to cover here, right? I want to cover this epic crash out by Harry Sisson, right? And this is some of the things that be crushing the narratives of the Democratic Party, right? What they try to do, right? Scott Jennings perfectly said it perfectly. It's a free country, not a monarchy. Puts a dent in their narrative. Their narratives of Trump being an authoritarian, oh, he's a king, all this and that and the third, right? All this fake outrage about the young conservative. And this is where all this stuff is going to kind of allude to, is that when the Democrats try to hold Republicans accountable, you have to make sure that you're holding your side accountable first. Because at the end of the day, everyone's going to see through the BS. It's always politically expedient to point fingers at your political opponent. It says something about a party that's able to hold its own constituents accountable. You got some Republicans that got mad and condemned the professional group chat of the young Republicans. You have some Republicans that don't want to condemn it because they see this as a political distraction. But guess what? No one's trying to cancel each other on the right over it. You see the criticisms, the right criticizing the right defending the right. There's a whole lot of political diversity on this side of the aisle. So much political diversity that I see no reason for a person to even indulge with the left. This is just my personal opinion. You can take it or leave it. You can leave a comment section if you disagree or agree with me. But this is the type of things that is going on the Republican side of the aisle. And I want to point out some clips. Maybe I'll make a montage of certain clips, maybe about 3, going over the Democrats being used as an insult in young men's circles, how the Democratic Party lost young men. And then we'll go over how Harry Sisson represents kind of the worst aspects of the Democratic Party and why a lot of liberals are failing to make a point, failing to make an impact that's actually swaying public opinion. But without further ado, let's get into the clips.
They've lost culture. Yeah. I've got 3 boys. Calling someone a Democrat is an insult. Mm-hmm. Calling someone a Kamala voter is an insult. This is white, black, Asian, Hispanic. Young men across America are over the BS that they saw at this No Kings rally. Look at that dance. These are huge dorks. They have no power. They are losers. No one wants to hang out with them. They're old 1960s protesters who now are on the side that they used to protest against, right? They don't realize that the world has shifted around them, and they are awkward lunatics. And so their last refuge is violence.
Because Donald Trump has a history of racism himself.
No, that's not true.
Are you kidding me?
sorry,
Donald Trump
that's not
started his
true.
career with racism. In the 1970s, he was sued for housing discrimination. In 1989, he was a part of he was led the lynch mob against the Central Park Five. In the 1990s, he was sued by casino workers for racial discrimination. He led a 5.5-year campaign against Barack Obama for allegedly not having an accurate birth certificate. Donald Trump came in office talking about he was going to ban Muslims, and he was called Mexicans were supposedly
He has
bringing
the
drugs.
most
Donald
multiracial
Trump has a long
coalition.
history. You didn't deny
that the-
anything of the things
that
I
the
just said.
Republican Party has
Donald
ever
Trump
had.
just this year said that he's allowing white South Africans to come to the United States, but not black South Africans.
Why did the
What could be more
why
racist
did
than
the
that?
majority of Latino men vote for him? Why did 25% of black men vote for him?
It was
if
not
that's the
25%.
case?
And,
Of course
and
it
still,
was.
black people are the most loyal group against Donald Trump, in fact, because we clearly could see through the charade that he was
So
putting
why
up.
did 25%
Donald Trump has
of black men
a
vote for him?
50-year history
Why
of
did a
racism.
majority of Hispanic men vote for him if he's
I'm not a Hispanic person. I can tell you as a black man that Donald Trump is a racist. That's unquestionable.
I don't agree with that at all.
By the way, I'd be happy to answer the question
you know.
about whether or not a high-ranking Democrat has used this rhetoric.
Please.
Who is Kamala Harris?
I know. I want you to answer all the questions. I want you to
I
answer
have
all
a
the
question
questions
for
I
you.
just
Who
gave
is
you.
Kamala Harris?
Wait. Answer all the questions I just gave you. And can you name
No,
me
I'm answering
when
your
Kamala
first
Harris
question.
said that
This was your
Donald Trump
first
is
question. Who was
When
so
did
here
Kamala
it
Harris?
is.
Great.
Is
When did
Kamala
Kamala Harris call
last
Donald
year a
Trump Hitler?
high-ranking Democrat when she was
When
the
did
party
Kamala
nominee?
Harris call Donald Trump Hitler?
October
Last
of
October.
2024, Kamala Harris said on the campaign trail, Donald Trump vowed to be a dictator on day one. His former chief of staff said he wanted generals like Hitler's. Donald Trump openly admires dictators, including Adolf Hitler. Last October, that was said on the campaign trail from the
So
Democrat
Kamala Harris said this during the campaign, during the closing days of the campaign. It was her final campaign pitch. Is that high enough ranking for you? You guys you supported her for president.
Exactly, because there have been
So
reports
the person
that
that you
Donald Trump
supported
kept...
for president is someone
just relax,
who was
Jack.
campaigning
Take a
by
breather.
calling Trump Hitler.
Jack,
And
take a
she's
breather.
not-
You're so
That's-
disingenuous when you bring this stuff up. You
Wait,
can't, you can't even acknowledge the fact that your own candidate was on the
relax,
campaign. She's got a
stop.
video about it. It's on her Facebook or it's on her
Let
Twitter
me
page.
offer
Jack, you
one.
said-
Let me offer one here, which is Hillary
Wait,
Clinton.
can I-
Hillary Clinton literally compared Trump's rally in Ohio last week to Nazi leader Adolf Hitler's speeches. Speaking at the Texas
let me just
Tribune
work-
Festival in
everybody,
Austin, she made reference to
you keep-
Hitler's speeches, which saw people
Okay.
raise their right arms in the air in the Nazi salute. I remember as a young student, trying to figure out how people basically got bought in by Hitler, she said.
Louise.
How did that happen? I'd watch newsreels and I'd see this guy standing there ranting and raving and so on. It happens all the time.
How ineffective the Democratic Party is, right? Even their golden child here, Harry Sisson, and this is where I'm gonna kind of land the video on, is that when they're trying to spew these narratives, as you saw from the segment in the middle of them, making these arguments. Oh, well, name me one high-ranking Democrat that ever compared Donald Trump to Hitler, bruh. That's a layup for a conservative. That's a layup. Biden, Bill Clinton, as Pierce Morgan mentioned, Kamala Harris, right? You can go on. Maybe Obama, I don't remember. It's so much, it just gets globbed together. You just know Democrats say this stuff. He will be a dictator on day one. Fear-mongering. Over what? Over what? Being called a Democrat is an insult in 2025, especially if you're a young man. I'm just saying. And the Democrats can't stand that they lost the culture. And let me know in the comment section, do you agree? Do you agree that the Democratic Party has lost the culture? And if you're a black Democrat, do you see any way that you guys can gain back the minority men that you lost during the 2024 election? Based on the Democrats and where they're going, I don't think so. But without further ado, let's get into this discussion. I'll try to play this video as long as I can before I cut in. Let's get into it.
Here, which is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton literally compared Trump's rally in Ohio last week to Nazi leader Adolf Hitler's speeches. Speaking at the Texas Tribune Festival in Austin, she made reference to Hitler's speeches, which saw people raise their right arms in the air in the Nazi salute. I remember as a young student, trying to figure out how people basically got bought in by Hitler, she said.
Louise.
How did that happen? I'd watch newsreels and I'd see this guy standing there ranting and raving and so on. It happens all the time. And Harry, I would say JD Vance was totally wrong to say it about Trump as well. I think the young conservatives who've been exposed by this Politico expose were totally wrong too.
Can they say that?
Some grotesque stuff in there.
I have no problem saying that, Harry. But there are sitting members of Congress, like Jasmine Crockett, who literally just weeks ago called Donald Trump a wannabe leader. I mean, it's crazy.
Jack, can you say that? Jack, can you say that? Can you condemn the Young Republicans group chat where they pledged affinity for Hitler?
I don't really care about some group chat right now while you guys keep shooting up all of my friends.
Oh, no. Jack, you can condemn both. You can be.
But Jack, I do think for consistency, actually, you should care. JD Vance tried to downplay what the Young Republicans were saying in these racist, sexist messages. One guy said that rape was
I don't think JD Vance said anything wrong.
One said rape was epic. Another said he tried to say they're all very young, but actually some of them were nearly his age. The reality is that kids do stupid things to tell edgy, offensive jokes. He said, fine, but they're actually, but they are still part of the conservative movement.
On top of rooftops outside of the No Kings rally, shooting at Democrats.
So look, I don't know why. I don't know when we became such a sensitive society. Yes, they said some bad things, some vile things. I guess, yes. But were they calling threats of? I know the grape one, a little grayer there, but hey, I don't care. Like, honestly, I don't care. I don't even care about the jokes about watermelon people, right? For referring to black people. I own the fact that I like watermelons. Okay, and accurate. For me, I don't care. But if someone's saying, hey, Kenny's next, right? Oh, shoot. Conservatives got assassinated. Yes. Conservatives need to be fearful for their lives. Celebrating death, it's hard to make this equivalency. And this is the argument I think conservatives are trying to say. It's like, okay, liberals, they've been saying that Donald Trump was a rapist and all this stuff. He does this to women. He does all these accusations. Allowed to say it. Compare Trump to some of the worst things in history. Allowed to say it. Young conservatives on a private group chat, not even public statements. These are public statements Democrats and their followers make online, social media, and other public airwaves. Allowed to say all these disparaging stuff. George Stephanopoulos from ABC got sued and Trump won for him disparaging him as a rapist. George Stephanopoulos making slanderous remarks like that. And Republicans in a private group chat, they got exposed making some inappropriate, very disgusting, right, jokes. We're supposed to hold it to the same regard as James Jones wishing death upon his political rival and his children. We're supposed to equate it as the same as the left in all their forms, celebrating the death of a man because they didn't like his speech. Charlie Kirk didn't push hate speech. He had speech that the left hated. That was his crime, and they felt like he deserved it. That's the left. And you're trying to say both sides. You're trying to say both sides. Okay. So whose president almost got two assassination? Who got two assassination attempts at his life? Donald Trump. But all this hate, oh my God, there's so much hate directed at Democrats. Where? And sometimes this is one of the reasons I think Democrats don't make any sense, why Democrats appeal so much to the far left. Because a part of me thinks that the Democrats that make sense, they're held hostage by the extremist part of their party because they know how violent their extremist part of their party can be to make them do their bidding. This is why they're doing this shutdown stuff right now, to try to show that they can fight Trump, that they can resist Trump, that they're in opposition to Trump. But the minute Donald Trump was allowed to deploy the National Guard in Portland, it was quiet like a mouse. They was able to clean up the streets. Check out videos. And as an American, that's what I want to see more of. I don't care about you guys trying to go deep dive into Trump's past and try to say, oh, he was this, he's that. He has a history of racism, says deranged liberal commentary on CNN called Keith Boykins. I don't give a damn what he's doing right now. Oh, he's putting the National Guard in high crime neighborhoods that disproportionately affect black people, Black people are happy that their kids can finally play outside and they can feel comfortable and safe allowing that to happen. And Keith Boykins is surprised. Black Democrats are surprised why more and more black men are gravitating towards the Republican Party. And they have the gall to call me a coon. You got Roland Martin with his effeminate butt with a shirt like vote like a black woman. I'm not a black woman, right? If we play in identity politics, that's what doesn't make sense to me. The left love to play identity politics until identity politics don't work out for them. Why would I vote like a black woman? I'm a black man. Why would I vote for that? Why would I vote like them? I'm just saying, if you want to be largely consistent liberals, but this is the game they play. They always like to take things that's convenient for them. But I digress. I like the fact that Jack Posobiec isn't apologizing, and it just shows you the representation between inside the conservative movement. There's conservatives that's condemning this comment. There's conservatives that's not. But guess what? We still talk to each other. We're not trying to do these little purity tests. We still hold those Republicans accountable, regardless of our disagreements. But what about the left?
Harry, you asked for specific examples of memes that are raising the political temperature to incite violence against right-wingers in this country. You yourself posted in June of last summer showing Charlie Kirk with a Ku Klux Klan hood photoshopped over him, calling him a racist and saying, Charlie, just put the hood on already. That video was later archived.
That's not true.
Oh, please tell us.
What I posted... I'd love to. What I posted was actually not of last summer. I don't even know where you got that from. It was from the New York City primary where Charlie Kirk likened Zohran Mamdani to the 9/11 terrorists. And I thought that there was a very racist and obviously unfair comparison. And so I told Charlie Kirk to put the hood on because there's nothing similar between Zohran Mamdani, a politician whom he might have disagreements with, and 9/11 terrorists. So I don't know where you got your information from, but that's just objectively false.
Oh, according to a very basic Google search, Harry, in June of last year, you posted a video.
I encourage people to do it.
Charlie Kirk is out here preaching unity while pushing every racist trope in the book. Just put the Klan hood on, Charlie. It would be more honest. You obviously were delivering that in a sarcastic tone, but you showed an edit overlaying a Ku Klux Klan hood on Charlie's head for dramatic effect. That video was later archived or removed after it had almost 2 million views on TikTok alone. And I think it's just an incredibly clear example, just like thousands of videos, photos, protest posters, T-shirts that we've seen, Piers, across the country at these so-called Save Democracy protests, Save America protests, where you're watching people wear T-shirts saying "Make assassinations great again" with Donald Trump's head exploding. Public school teachers in Chicago simulating shooting themselves in the neck to celebrate the fact that Charlie was violently assassinated on an American college campus. You're watching people say, if I had the chance to kill Stephen Miller because he is a fascist and a Nazi, of course I would take that opportunity. People calling for the execution of Donald Trump, anyone who votes for him, anyone who supports him or works for him. This is a very dangerous time to be openly conservative in America. And the amazing thing about all of that is those people represent more than half the country. So I think we're coming to a time in America right now where we have to reconcile the fact that we need to be open and honest about our beliefs to the point that it is impossible to reconcile with people and to coexist with them when they legitimately want you dead after spending years calling you a fascist, a Nazi, a white supremacist, literally Adolf Hitler, or anything else we often see influencers like Harry post on social media.
They're crying that their people are getting fired, like the teacher that was making the gesture to Charlie Kirk's neck. She got fired, left crying. These Republicans lost influence, lost connections to the Republican Party. No one's crying over them losing their jobs. But people are defending the context of the chat and how the Republicans are going, we can hold our side accountable, but look at the Democrats. Can't do nothing. Don't want to do nothing. To people like Jane Jones. Don't want to tell them, hey, you need to tone down your rhetoric. No. They love to spread the blame around. Oh, both sides got to do it. Okay, you first, Democrat. Crickets. Always waiting for the Republicans to do it. And then when the Republicans do it, you move on to the next thing, like Harry Sisson's trying to do right now. I digress. Let the video wrap up.
Terrible too. You're being so slimy. You're being so slimy.
Which they don't happen. So I'm sorry.
Jack, you can condemn. Wait.
Shooting at my friends, then I'm not really concerned about some group
You can condemn both.
Those guys.
You can condemn both.
Those guys.
Jack,
but,
you can condemn.
I think you can easily condemn all. I think you can actually.
Wait.
Well, hang on. No, you wait, Harry. If you're going to be intellectually honest, actually, it should be easy to condemn all of these things. All the invoking of the Nazis and Hitler should be condemned. It's never appropriate because Hitler and the Nazis were a gazillion times worse than anything we're seeing here. I think the messaging between these young Republicans was appalling and should be condemned. I think that J.D. Vance trying to defend it and calling Trump Hitler before, that should be easily condemned. All these things should be condemned. The killing of Charlie Kirk should be absolutely condemned by anyone, right? All of these things, if you're going to be intellectually honest, should be condemned. Everyone should be held to account, but everyone should be.
But you're talking about,
it would be much
political
better.
violence.
It would be much better for the political discourse in America.
You're letting him get away. You're letting him get away.
No.
Yes, you are. And let me just explain why briefly before you bring in the other guests. Jack is in a corner right now, right? He continues to go with this line of, I'm very upset about Charlie Kirk, which is understandable.
Look, left liberals, you guys keep trying to go with this like, oh, we're holier than thou, we're superior than thou, we do this, we do that, but you heard what? Oh, he's in a corner right now. You let him off easy. Let him off. The way Jackson wrote, he looked like he ain't gonna vote for nothing. He's like, yeah, I said what I said, and you go accept it. Let's see how this ends out, because I wanted to close the video, but let's see how this ends out.
As he should be.
It's not a line, Harry.
It is a line.
Kirk.
It is a line. First of all, you guys was not the Democratic Party. But second of all, Jack, you can condemn both. Look at Jack. You can condemn both. Look at the isolated incident of these young Republicans praising Hitler. Can you condemn that, Jack?
Any of this stuff.
Jack, can you condemn? Can you condemn people who pledge allegiance to Hitler? Can you pledge allegiance to Hitler?
And this is how I think many people see it. They see it as just lip service. Liberals give lip service to what they're supposed to say, right? But when you look at their actions, there's no remorse in the kind of, we're so sorry. We don't condemn anything that happened to Charlie Kirk, but it just says like, oh yeah, you're just saying what you're supposed to say. Like that's how the Democrats come across. And conservatives, and I think many feel on the conservative side are going, no, we don't believe you. We just don't care. Like we're not gonna play this fake game of pretend with you. We know you don't really care. You're just saying what you need to say because right now if you take the opposite approach, it may not look too good for you. All right? That's just what it is. Covering your A. That's it. That's all Harry Sisson and a lot of these mainstream Democrats and liberals and social media influencers are doing. And conservatives is going, no, don't try to tone for police. We already held the people accountable. We don't need to condemn anything. We actually doing it with our actions. And I think that's what the messaging that is being kind of lost in this conversation here.
No, but that's okay. Let me look. Don't talk over each other. Jack, I don't think it is difficult for you to just say that what those young Republicans were saying in these messages that was exposed was wrong and should be condemned. Why is that difficult?
No, I don't think it's difficult at all. But what I do think is very obvious here that was timed by Politico. Politico, by the way, which refused to. Harry, I'll let you
won't do it.
But if they were young people on the left who were exposed
that it was time to come out the same day as Charlie Kirk's presidential nomination.
And that's the point. And that's exactly right, Piers. He condemns people on the left who joke about other things he doesn't like. But when it comes to pledging allegiance to Hitler, he won't condemn it. Jack, let me ask you a simple question.
Yeah, but they can both be wrong. They can both.
All right, I'm done. But you get the point. I think it's very hard for the left to really make a case, right? Because usually Korean Jean-Pierre coming out here says she needs to see teeth in fire against the Trump administration right now in this moment. It is an existential threat. Our democracy is hanging by a thread. This is what I'm talking about. Oh my God! Someone had it right in the comment section when they say that the Democratic Party is just a group of people for theater kids. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about the conversation? Do you think that conservatives are going too far and they should condemn what the young Republicans are saying? We should unilaterally condemn this. We should start putting, or it should be like, they made some jokes. This was a private conversation. This was meant for public eyes. They got exposed for it. Hey, they lost their job. They already been held accountable. Let's move on. Do you even think this should have been a story in the first place? I'd like to hear your thoughts and perspective in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video. If you feel so inclined, it really does help me on the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.